This meeting will come to order. Please stand, recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's my favorite part. Thank you all for coming. I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes. Thank you. I need a motion to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of July 9, 2024.
Motion to adopt.
Go.
Oh, okay, thanks. Motion to adopt the agenda from the regular meeting, July 9th, 2024. The minutes.
Minutes.
The minutes. The minutes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So passes. Thank you. Right. The next item of communication and presentation is the audit is postponed until next month due to scheduling conflict. So it'll be in the October meeting. Going on to reports. First report, financials from Don Parks.
Thank you. For you have the monthly financial update as of August 31st of 2024. For our real estate taxes, as of the end of August, we've collected 96% of our current year taxes. We have just under 2,700 residents take advantage of the early payment discount period and a savings of $27,482. Under our reserve and committed funds, our emergency reserve trust fund has a balance of $1,218,484. Our capital replacement trust fund has a balance of $1,331,593. The street repair and replacement trust has a balance of $1,325,957. The American Rescue Plan Act, we still have a little over $300,000 left from in ARPA funds. Currently, the remaining balance is encumbered for 8 Oakwood parking lot, the Burzins Natural and Park Area, and the OVPD Evidence Building Concept. The Emergency Services Enhancement Fund for FY25, currently we've had 16 new home construction permits. This year we budgeted for 40, so we're moving right along with meeting our target for the year. Has a balance of $1,037,611. Transfer taxes, of course, were collected through July 31st, are from 4.1% new construction, 9.3% of land sales, and 86.6% of resales of existing homes. We had 2 new constructions, resales for 32 properties, and we've had 17 land transfers. Well, currently, we are ahead of our year-to-date target by $63,000. Following on pages 3 and 4 is our financial statement recap and the August analytics following that. For period 4, to be on target for the year, we would be at 33% expensed. Right now, our actual is 29%, so we are just below where we should be for the year. So that's good going into the winter seasons. As the mayor said, the audit review and the presentation of the financial statements has been postponed till October, but audit has wrapped up, and right now we're in the final review of our financial statements. Wanted to add one more thing. On July 23rd, I received notification from the Government Financial Officers Association that our FY25 budget met the criteria set by the organization and was awarded the Distinguished Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for the second year. So tonight I'll be adding our medallion to the plaque in the back. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
John, I think it was last week I was in Shawanda's office and I was surprised to see a big pile of envelopes of delinquent taxpayers. And she said that was quite normal, but it was more than 50, which I thought was kind of high.
It's 4%, 4% of what we sent out, that's all we have remaining. But usually the first ones, the first delinquents that go out at the beginning of September. We've been getting piles of payments in again this past week. People are calling. This is where we catch all the ones that got lost in the mail, where they didn't receive their first one due to mail issues. They weren't returned, but they say they didn't receive their bill. So we're working through those. Usually about half of that comes out before October.
Okay, so we are not finding those people for the first,
With the first group that sent out in May, the ones that are returned, I work those on a daily basis. I look for updated addresses. I try emailing them. I try calling them. If they don't have escrow, then I remail the bill. If they have an escrow, I update their account. But if they want their bill, I'll remail it. But otherwise, it's going to get paid by the end of July. These are the folks that, for some reason, did not receive their bill. Usually lost in the mail is the only thing I can think of. Or they got it, they put it aside, they can't find it, they forgot about it, you know.
well, I was just wondering, with 50 or more people who are delinquent, and you have to send out a letter, and you have postage, and you have time spent to prepare that paperwork, do we get any kind of reimbursement because of that?
We do have penalties that are assessed from September 1st.
Oh, September.
So September
So
1st.
the first delinquent don't get assessed a fine? They do.
Regardless of whether it's
Regardless.
what Dawn explained, if we're still trying to reach them or if they didn't get it, it's still their responsibility to know they have to pay taxes.
So if it's lost in the mail, they still pay a fine?
After August 31st.
Okay.
Most of these folks have lived here most of their lives. They know their bills are due by the end of August and that they owe taxes. We have calls all summer long from people who have not received their bill, and we send them that got lost in the mail, and they know it's due. So getting a tax bill is a convenience, not mandatory. People know they owe property taxes.
Yeah.
So yes, our penalty starts September 1st. If you have not paid by August 31st, on September 1st, there's a penalty, and then we mail out the first notice.
Okay.
But those will, like I said, by the end of September, half of those will diminish. Well, it gets less and less every month. We have 4 people that have not paid prior years, and that's it. Our collection rate is very high.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, Don?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. You had mentioned 4%, so out of the 2,700 property and homeowners, normally 4% are late?
No, right now, we only have 4% that we haven't collected. We've collected 96% of our taxes, so only 4% is still outstanding.
Okay, so I misinterpreted that. You said every year we're 4%.
That's about normal. Yeah, we're right in target where we are in previous years when I looked at it. It's 4 to 6% is where we are going into September.
That people are quote late or something like that. So, and then you also said that if people don't escrow and that gets lost in the mail, that they should remember that their tax bill is due.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. People know their that they owe property taxes.
Okay.
Escrow.
And it's 18%, right?
Annually.
Annually, yeah,
Annually.
1.5.
1.5% a month.
Right. Okay.
Yes, yes.
All right, cool. Thank you, Dawn.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Mhm.
Moving on to public safety report. Chief?
Yes, sir. 7 responses reported in the town of Millville in August. No, we didn't have the July meeting, but I did, I think you also got a copy of the July police report as well. But for August, we had 7 responses in Millville. Volunteer unit logged 89 hours. Got a list of some of the training that took place last month. Of note, under community policing, the department held a Special Olympics bicycle event right here in John West Park on the 29th. That was coordinated by Corporal Brian Caselli. And we had a really good, and Sergeant Burton, we had a really good turnout from our local Special Olympic athletes. We did a nice bike event down Osprey through Stingray Harbor and back around. And then had a pizza party here in the building afterwards. The following grants were applied for and received. We received $29,500 from DEMA. We're using that money to host a statewide canine training, something we've done in the past. We've got a lot of new canine officers in the state, and they are in need of some medical training on how to treat their dogs if they're injured in the line of duty, primarily from gunshots and stabbing type injuries. We're also incorporating paramedics from all over the state of Delaware. We've had some changes now to the state law that allows our paramedics to also treat service animals. So we're going to get them trained up as well. We've got $15,000 from a CJC grant. It's actually funds that are going to be added into an existing grant to allow us to host an activity-based budget model training. We're doing that for ourselves somewhat, but also to help out some of the smaller law enforcement departments in the area that are struggling with the accreditation process that we're now mandated to have by state law. We're using also from the CJC $3,300 to go towards hosting a child abduction and missing response team training. That's an initiative that we launched last year to prepare local law enforcement for a missing or abducted a child case. We're going to be hosting that training down at the new hotel there in Bethany Beach at 99 Garfield Parkway this coming spring. That's an initiative between the Ocean View Police Department, the U.S. Department of Justice, and the Delaware Department of Justice. We hope to train at least 100 officers from up and down the Atlantic. Corporal Nick Harrington is spearheading that initiative. We also received $79,859.60 from the Special Law Enforcement Asset Forfeiture Grant Program, and we're using that to purchase a new use of force simulator to replace the existing simulator at the police department. That is at the end of its life cycle, and so it needed to be replaced. And then Sergeant Carter applied for and received $10,300 from the state cybersecurity grant to enhance the town's ability to defend against cyber intrusions. We developed operational guidelines related to the Police Accountability Committee. Corporal Brian Caselli completed the Law Enforcement Executive Development Association Trilogy. That's put on by the FBI. The training consists of a series of executive development courses. Other officers that have completed that include Captain Hall, Sergeant Burton, and Detective Harrington. Sergeant Carter represented the town in the annual statewide Continuity of Operations Plan. That's hosted by DEMA and the State Department of Homeland Security. OVPD also hosted planning meetings and assisted with the Operation Seize the Day. 2 other things I want to mention real quick. upcoming ordinances that I'm working on with our esteemed solicitor, smoking ordinance, and I think we're ready to go with that. We've got to get that to, maybe on the agenda for, next month's meeting. But I think, you sent me the final
Yes.
copy of that, so we're ready
I
to go
still
with
owe
that.
you the other one.
Yep, okay, the smoking will cover, smoking, any item, tobacco, marijuana, vaping, and on town property. So we want to be able to control that. Right now, we have signs posted, but we don't have an ordinance, and it's difficult to enforce that outside. So we want to get that cleaned up. The other one deals with First Amendment assemblies and protests on town property. We can't restrict them, it's public property, but we can put forth some guidelines, like 15 days notice to the town. We can control the number of people here, whether or not streets are going to be closed or open, security, trash pickup, those type of things, charging for those services. Right now, we don't have anything on the books. So, the solicitor is putting together something, and hopefully in the next month or two, we'll have something ready to go there. And you have a copy of all of our staff. I'll be happy to answer any questions that anybody has regarding that.
Thank you, Chief. Looks like you've been busy writing grants, and the grants that you get saves our taxpayers, particularly this month, $137,000. So I want to thank you for really working hard to get that for us.
Well, obviously, we're always looking out for the taxpayers. The other benefit to the taxpayers is, that not only just Ocean View, but the other, allied agencies that we work with, we're training our staff to be more prepared for, future events. And I think that's, building that resiliency into our community and into our law enforcement agencies is important.
Well, kudos to you for putting together the grants to do that. Otherwise, this training you wouldn't have because it's not in the budget. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry, no, real quick, I gotta, because they gave us a donation, I wanna mention that we got a donation from, Robert Ross and Barbara Slavin, who live right up the street here, $500 that they donated, to go towards the, school resource officer program that we're
Oh,
part of.
good.
So I just wanna say thank you publicly to them for that.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments for the chief? If not, we'll move on to planning and zoning and development. Ken Semino.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to talk a little bit about building construction permits and piggyback on Dawn's comments. These are homes, continues to build homes out at Silverwoods, and Dan Ryan Builders is coming online at Silverwoods as well. We'll be receiving permits from them next week. And so they're both sections are moving along in full swing. I feel confident, as Dawn does, that we'll hit our target, projected target of 40 permits. Not on here is, because the information came in Friday after I sent this in, is that Shore Vista finally received their final plan approval from the Conservation District and DENRAC. They've gotten the plans over to us late last night. We are reviewing them, and hopefully we'll be able to turn them around next week and get them out there and get them started.
What are those plans for? I didn't hear.
Shore Vista, off of Woodland Avenue.
Woodland.
It's a residential community of 104 townhome, villa-style townhomes. And so hopefully they'll get started with the site work, and that'll take a couple months. So I anticipate that they should be in here for permits and building houses first of the year.
That's the property they got annexed to.
Got word from the Ocean View Beach Club earlier this week that they're going to start on their punch list repairs next week. we'll see.
Right.
If they, you know, when they show up, but it's my understanding that they're gonna start on that, so, you know, we'll see how that, works out. Stingray Harbor is finally completed. We're waiting for, some landscaping that was missed and final, as-built survey, so we can review all the features that we're taking, roadway, curbs, sidewalks, drainage features, pipe inverts and such. Capital improvements, really right now we're in law, we're in between projects. But I did want to highlight the job that our construction managers did from Wallace Montgomery and particularly Nick Nussbaum at Country Estates. We came in $30,000 under budget on the construction itself, below what the bid price was, and $30,000 on the construction management. As well, we had anticipated that we would have major electricity utilities to move, main power lines, and also one additional water line. We were able to make field adjustments out in the field and avoid those relocations, and that saved us some money. So we should be about $150,000 under the $505,000 that we budgeted for this project. Code enforcement, these are our run-of-the-mill code enforcement violations. We do have one major violation that we sent out. I did not put it in here. It is for 30 Brighton. Councilman Walsh is aware of it. It is in his district. They have been renting all year without a rental license. They rented all summer. I visited the residents with Ocean View PD in June. We questioned the individuals that were renting. We got some information, got it on body cam, sent a violation notice out with a $500 fine. Got the return receipt card back from the post office. They received it. They didn't pay the fine. That violation has been turned over to the solicitor's office for collections. We visited again at the end of the season in August. Again, I went out with Ocean View PD, spoke with the young individuals who were renting the property. They advised that yes, they were renting. There was now nine people in there renting. We sent another violation for each day thereafter the original violation. That totaled a little over $17,000. That fine is due tomorrow. If we do not receive that fine, that will be turned over to the solicitor's office for collections. Grants. We have been working for a year now with DEMA on a grant for drainage improvements and reconstruction of Oakwood Avenue right here next to John West Park to take care of some drainage issues we have, and it'll include resurfacing and such. We received a very high ranking and good news. Right now, all we're doing is to get confirmation from DEMA that we secured the $182,000 grant. So, but it looks really favorable from the discussions that we have with DEMA. Permits and COs and business and rental licenses there. One thing that doesn't show up that I've spent an inordinate amount of time on, and town manager is aware of this, is issues that are going on out at the Silverwoods community. During the planning process, the developer's representative stood here in 3 meetings and said that rental terms would not be changed by the developer, that the HOA would have the ultimate decision to decide rental terms in the community relative to the entirety of the community, but also the 161 individual towns that were being constructed. On June the 19th, recorded that the recorder of deeds was amended covenants, changing the rental restrictions from 1 year to 1 week and adding a provision which is above and beyond what is standard in any covenants, that those provisions could not be changed unless the community had 80% of ownership with a favorable vote. So my office, me particularly, has been working with the community, working with Beazer Homes, working with the developer, trying to resolve this and find a middle ground. They met with Beazer today. Beazer was not willing to budge. They pointed the finger at the developer. I spoke to the developer last week. He pointed the finger at Beazer. I reminded him that Beazer's only bought 16 lots from you. Math tells me you still own about 145 lots. So you're in control of the development. I've asked them, I have not mandated anything because we have no dog in this hunt. I'm advocating for our constituents to sit down and work something out before this ends up going to court and it ended up in an injunction and everything stops over there.
What's the likelihood that they'll sit down together?
You know, I don't know. Beazer said they'll get back to them in 2 weeks. They are anticipating applying for certificates of occupancy in about 2 weeks, and you know, as you know, the review process sometimes takes up to 21 days. So you know, I don't know.
But if Beazer only has 16 lots,
Exactly.
it ought to be up to the developer to fix it.
I spoke to the developer about that. I spoke to the developer's attorney about it. The developer indicated to me that he spoke with his attorney and he was directed that you need to make this right, you need to work this out. The unfortunate thing is his attorney's the one that's on immortalizing YouTube and his reputation, saying that he's, you know, saying what he said.
But
Mr.
we
Semino,
don't have control over that. We don't have control over the restrictive covenants.
There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
I'm just making you aware of what we have been working on and involved in.
So also, I noticed on the sign it says Beazer, and then there's another builder underneath it.
DRB, Dan Ryan Builders.
That's the norm anymore. You don't see just one builder, you kind of see a secondary to try to move through the project.
Dan Ryan Builders is the developer and the builder of our Shore Vista site on Woodland Avenue.
Okay.
Ken, are you hopeful that, Mr. Thornton will do this?
I am cautiously hopeful that the conversations I've had with Bob will lead him to work out an agreement that is in the best interest of everyone. You know, it may not be what the community wants, and it may not be what Beazer wants, but I'm hopeful that it's something in the middle.
Okay. So, when you talk about the community, the existing community,
The 100
or the new one that is
The
starting
hundred-
to be built?
the 111 plus 29 that's in the unincorporated, the 140 homes
Of the current home?
of the current homes are all part of the community as a whole.
Gotcha. And there was a, in the covenants, there was rental agreements for long-term rental, or
Yes.
a year.
Or for rental, just
Rental
rental
in general, for a year,
That's correct.
basically no weekly rentals.
Right.
And now,
Yeah, it's a
on the
year.
following, or the changing of the covenants happen, it's down to weekly rentals
Without the notification to the 140 residents that were there.
of the current residents.
Yes.
Yeah.
I met with Mr. Thornton, and we actually met in the office. We met for an hour this week. And, you know, he's like, and I mentioned to him, and he's like, well, I didn't know anything about it. I said, Bob, you signed along with Beazer. You know, so I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. This stinks.
Why would Beazer take that position?
They're townhomes.
Right.
People want to buy them for investment properties, and they want to be able to rent them and make money off of them.
Airbnb, it's more of an Airbnb.
It's easier for them to sell, and,
Right.
1 week rentals.
and the people who buy them make more money.
And that's fine, you know, everybody has the right to rent their property. Like I said, we don't dictate, restrictions in the covenants of private communities.
You can understand the people who were there, who have, like Ken said, it's immoralized on YouTube, where he said that the owners, the people, part of the development are gonna be able to decide what their rental situation's gonna be.
So-
I'm sorry, you have another question?
Yes, sir. So over what is the new development that's 162, quote, homes or townhomes? Is that part of the existing community of 144? So
Yes,
grand total, it's gonna be
it's a
about,
master and a,
okay. So grand total, it's gonna be about a 300 resident
301,
properties.
I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
301.
309, something like that.
And in normal situations, once there's 51% ownership by individuals, does not the HOA and covenants turn over to them to change as they would deem necessary?
Well, you have to remember now, there's a mixed-use component to this project, and that's another several hundred units that is still theoretically controlled by the developer.
So they have the votes.
When he creates that. My thought is, well, maybe, I'll hold that thought. And, yeah,
So there, because of what you just brought up, several hundred available, although not into action, that would prohibit the HOA taking control of the covenants once it reached 51%?
you know, I'm not.
Yes, so like when we're transferring now, so you need to have the votes to do that, or the ownership to do it, and the developer, like at Ocean View, had all the weight because they still owned the lots. So each lot was a vote, and they just took their block of votes and said, this is the way we're gonna make it.
So the developer still owns right now, currently, 145 lots. So he owns the majority of the lots.
He can change it back, and, he's been encouraged to do so.
And he can change it back along with the other 140. That gives him I did the math, I think it was like a 94% at this time, majority.
So if he did a vote, he's got the vote.
Yes, if he wants, he can do it if he wants, it's all what he wants to do. And for me, it's troubling because, you know, that developer came to us with concerns that he couldn't develop the property, and you, ladies and gentlemen, with my support, changed the zoning restrictions to assist this development. And this is what has happened to us.
Would I be wrong in saying I feel duped?
I don't feel real good about it.
Thanks, Ken.
On a different issue, the cell phone tower, is that on the agenda for the planning and zoning?
There's no agenda this month for planning and zoning or board of adjustments.
It's what?
There is no agenda this month for planning and zoning
Oh, okay,
or board of adjustments.
okay, thank you. Any other questions?
But that won't come before the council.
It will eventually.
No,
Actually,
yeah.
no?
I thought because, special,
That's,
No.
oh,
that's board of adjustment.
okay,
It's only gonna go for second approval, it's gonna go
It
for
goes-
final approval
Yeah, preliminary and final combined probably.
with the planning commission.
Yep.
okay,
That's all we have left.
okay. Thank you. Moving on to the town manager's report, Carol.
Okay, Some good news, our municipal street aid funding will be at $128,139 this year. These funds, of course, will be included with our planned maintenance funds for work to be completed on town roadways. Some towns use these funds for streetlights even, paying streetlight bills. We use all of ours for improving our roadways. Provided an update on the water distribution sale. I do not have anything finalized from USDA yet, although last Friday, a week ago, I did get we got correspondence from the USDA that there's a possibility we will not have any clawback for the grants, which is a great thing if that occurs. It's just unfortunate it might have taken them 4 years to figure that out. But nevertheless, it would still be a good outcome. So we'll keep waiting to hear the finals on that. And then Veronica's been working with the water company to review the Public Service Commission. I wanted to say USDA again, and that was not right.
Dawn got the draft, I sent over to you, yeah?
Yes, actually, it's fine. I think I
Okay.
forgot to do
Okay.
that. I was on my way out the door when I saw it. So things are moving. We're hopeful to be finalizing that and going to closing soon. The Burzins Natural Area DelDOT held a required public meeting on the Transportation Alternative Program. We've referred to it as TAP here with you. Aspect of the park on August 21st right here in this room. Design continues at this time for the overall park and its amenities, which we will have some public meetings as we move forward in the months ahead. And again, very high level of grants in excess of $1 million have already been received for this and utilized towards the purchase and the development of the property. Comprehensive plan, I wanted to share with you that we already hit, believe it or not, our 5-year review. Jill and members of the planning department prepared the annual report. You got copies of it, so you can see that we've already completed a significant amount of our recommendations in our last 10-year comp plan. We had our 2 movie nights. They went well. The second one, Field of Dreams, raised just over $2,000 for our Ocean View K-9 team, the PD K-9 team. So that was good. We've made it, I believe, from I believe I told you through the first phase, and I feel confident about getting another $40,000 for Burzins for the outdoor classroom. That information was submitted, and we expect to hear probably in October if that's confirmed as well. Our audit is completed. Happy to say that the audit team always does come and sit with me to ask questions of things and share some information. And they did share how well prepared our finance team was and how they make the process fairly seamless. So kudos to Dawn and her team, and you'll hear from them yourselves next month. Began engagement with the Delaware Art Museum and their new program that they just launched yesterday evening. The mayor and I attended the event up in Lewis. It's called Del Arts Sales, S-A-I-L-S, South, a collaboration that they're putting out with towns. We'll be making a submission with hopes that we can have some type of a collaboration with more arts in our community and for the benefit of the community. Last 2 events of the year are Cops and Goblins on October 26th. All of the planning is well underway. And then the actually 6th annual, believe it or not, Old Town Holiday event on November 30th. Again, well underway, and We did start charging for that, and, I guess last year was our first year we started charging for that. We had, everybody wants to come back, so there's a high satisfaction level. And then I have some new ones that we're gonna make some decisions on. Fire and Ice will be January 31st through the 2nd, right here at John West Park. Shared some information about that. That planning is ramping up now as we speak. I think that's it. Be happy to answer any questions about that or anything else that's happened over the last month or whatever.
Any questions for the town manager? No, thank you very much. Public Works report, Larry?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We continue our daily facility checks for trash and so on at the park with bathrooms. We do our daily inspections for the playground equipment and report that with the iPad. We help set up for the movies and sprayed mosquitoes those mornings backpacking. Collins continues to mow once a week. It got droughtful this year, so we skipped a day. It was looking pretty bad. We had all the deadwood removed from the trees in the park. So local tree came in and did that, and while they were here, he asked about fertilizing the trees. And we never had that done. So we went ahead and looked into that and did get the trees fertilized, which will last 3 years. And that's going to give longevity for our trees, and let's face it, that's what makes this park. They're gorgeous. We pressure washed all the fences, all the playground equipment, and all the slabs out here. We placed all the gutter screens on this building and repaired any siding and so on that needed done. R&L did the fungus treatments at here and 201. Something else we did this year, we laid base wire for electricity in the dog park. This is going to open up for, like Christmas, we have a hard time running our electric, and for future events, this is going to give us electric out there. We replaced the sidewalks out here. I don't know if you noticed the new sidewalks out in front and in there, and we replaced the trash cans and keep maintenance up here as best we can. At 201, VCS did their semi-annual sprinkler inspection, which we passed, and we're still dealing with the HVAC. We're still having a little bit of problems there, but I think we're getting a lot closer to getting that fixed. Naturally, we do the flowers and the Blue Star ornament. That's something we keep up on. Mosquito control is still going on every Tuesday and Thursday. That should end maybe the end of this month, depending on weather. We sprayed the gutter lines on all of Atlantic Avenue and all of Central Avenue to keep the weeds back and keep our outlets cleaned up. Bear trap, we check for events in Savannah Landing. Those are the two with the most trees, so they're the ones that are clogged up the worst. Local Tree did some cutting back on the streets. They did Betts, Daisy, Osprey Lane, Seahawk, West Avenue, Wind Wade, and over at Tyler at Savannah Landing. We keep the flags raised and lowered as needed. They finished the patch on Woodland Avenue from the water in the main break. That was milled and finished patch was applied there. We fixed the manhole at Wedgefield, which every time someone ran over it was waking people up at night, so that got repaired. There was a washout there also on the pond to the entrance, and we did that with riprap. We've been replacing sidewalks at Savannah Landing. They're settling and getting uneven and trip hazards, so we're trying to keep up with that the best we can too. We replaced some of our lights at the maintenance shop. We had 8 lights out. We were a little bit in the dark there, so we're seeing again. We did larva control for mosquitoes in the cottages. Those catch basins hold water and don't drain, so that was an issue that we took care of also. And we inspected all of our inlets, and we're going to be doing inlet cleaning here within the next month.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah.
I have one question related to the flag at half-mast. Why is it at half-mast this week?
Yesterday was 9/11.
9/11.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The governor ordered it.
Mhm.
Came out.
Okay, moving on to the Millville Quality of Life report. In August, there was 372 calls compared to 301 last year. 78% of those calls are EMS calls. There was 13 motor vehicle accidents that they responded to this month compared to 8 last year. In the town of Ocean View, 65 calls were made compared to 49 of last year. In July, total calls were 322, almost the same as last year, 324, of which 41 was in the town of Ocean View. Any questions? If not, we're going to citizens' privilege. You have any questions you want to ask Frank?
Can't think of any right now.
Okay. All right, then we're going to close citizens' privilege. Thank you. Moving on to discussion, consideration, and possible voting on a resolution for the ORPT grant for outdoor classes at Burzins Nature Trail.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, I mentioned it during my report that we made it past the first hurdle, and one of the requirement or the next stage of our application, which has been submitted, is to have this, what is it,
Resolution.
it's a resolution, I was gonna say proclamation. Resolution awarded, you've done this 2 times previously, at least 2 times since I've been here. And all the wording is similar, and it is again for the grant that we've submitted for the outdoor classroom.
Okay, so I see in the resolution that you cite that it was unanimously approved, so I need to have a motion to approve this
Yeah.
resolution. So do I hear a motion to approve the outdoor recreation and trail grant application?
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the ORPT grant funding request for the development of this outdoor classroom, meeting area, small performance space within the Burzin Natural Area in the total amount of $40,000 with matching funds from the balance of American Rescue Act Fund monies in hand.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay. Moving on to the next one, discussion, consideration, possible voting on recommendation for approval of contract for lighting at 33 West Ave, OV 21-0001, task 22. Ken?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you noted in your introduction, this is a very old contract. Carol and I, after the parking lot was built and we had our first Cops and Goblins event, we were renting
Light poles?
light plants, yeah. Portable light plants, moving them around and what have you, because that's an event that runs late. And since then, our events have grown. We have Fire and Ice now, we have Old Town Holiday, and other things in the wintertime that run really dark. So, we sent out an email soliciting sealed bids for the 33 West Avenue parking lot lighting project. Project number OV 2101, task 22. It was sent to 5 electrical contractors on June 12, 2024. This work involves the placement of new light poles as shown on the lighting plan, and it includes construction of layout, maintenance of traffic, erosion and sediment control measures, and any and all incidental work required for the completion of the project. 2 sealed lump sum bids were received and opened on August the 2nd, 2024. Buyers Industrial Services, $47,809. Tudor Electric, $59,950. The project estimate was $43,889.81. A complete review and summary of the bids was performed by Nick Nussbaum, project manager with Wallace Montgomery and Associates LLP, and is attached for your review. Funding is available for these improvements in the FY '24 capital trust fund, totaling $55,000. It is therefore recommended the mayor and council authorize the town manager to enter into a contract with Fires Industrial Services for the total bid amount of $47,809,000 for this pedestrian and public safety project.
Thank you. Any questions for Ken? If not, then I need a motion to authorize the town manager to enter into a contract with Fires Industrial Services for the total bid amount of $47,809.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the town manager to enter into a contract with Fires Industrial Services for the total bid amount of $47,809.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. Thank you. Moving on to discussion, consideration, and possible voting on recommendation for approval of contract for municipal tree trimming OVPZ and D 25-01. Ken?
Thank you, Mayor. Advertisements and an email to our two regular tree care service companies soliciting sealed bids for municipal tree care services, contract OVPZ&D 2501, were placed in local newspapers and on the town's website in June of 2024. This work involves furnishing all labor, materials, transportation, tools, supplies, and equipment necessary to maintain, trim, or remove trees and brush along our public right-of-way located within the incorporated limits of the town of Ocean View, in accordance with applicable standards. One sealed bid was received and opened on July 25th, 2024. Save a Tree Incorporated, formerly Sussex Tree, of Bridgeville, Delaware. These bid proposals were rated on the following criteria: firm experience and capabilities, 50%. Cost of services provided, 30%. References, 20%. It is therefore recommended that Mayor and Council authorize the town manager to enter into a contract with Save a Tree Incorporated for 3 years beginning October 1st, 2024 and ending on September 30th, 2027.
Thank you. Any questions?
Real quick, Mr. Mayor, Ken, in this agreement, so for 3 years, will the cost of hourly rate or whatever it is to remove or trim trees will be on a static nature
It will be negotiable every year.
every year?
Yes.
Although the 3-year contract, the actual yearly rate would occur.
Yes. Well, yeah, so I have the rates for this year. October 1st next year, I'll get rates, I'll look at them. We'll talk about it. The plus of this contract is our contracting authority is so low. You know, by our code, we can only spend $7,500 a year on any one contractor without soliciting bids. You know, a lot of folks try to circumvent that by doing contracts individually several times a year, and the dollar amount ends up greater than. So this allows us, the contracting authority, to have somebody that we can schedule, call, and have them come out to take care of our needs.
It also lets us, get at the problem quicker.
Yeah, no, because it's call on demand, if you will, that might be the.
Yes,
Yeah.
and this the company that actually was responsive. They do have several certified arborists on staff. They also do a lot of tree planting for us in our capital program when we're working with our sidewalk projects and there are trees that need to come down and they're on people's properties, and you know, we like to replant when we take things down.
Very good, thank you, sir.
Any other questions? If not, then I need a motion to authorize the town manager to enter into a contract with Save a Tree Incorporated for 3 years, beginning October 1, 2024 and ending September 30, 2027.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we enter into a contract with Save a Tree from Bridgeville, Delaware for the next 3 years.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. Thank you. The next item is discussion, consideration, and possible voting on a recommendation for approval of a contract for municipal snow removal, OVPZ and D 25-02. Ken?
I got it.
Okay.
Advertising, soliciting sealed bids for open-end municipal snow removal services, contract OV PZ&D 2502 was placed in local newspapers and on the town's website in July of 2024. This work involves furnishing all labor, materials, transportation, tools, supplies, and equipment necessary to maintain approximately 27 miles of roadway during winter weather events within the incorporated limits of the town of Ocean View. One sealed bid was received and opened on August 29, 2024. SMI Site Services of Selbyville, Delaware. Again, the bid proposal were rated on the following criteria: firm experience and capabilities, 50%. Cost of services provided, 30%. References, 20%. It is therefore recommended that Mayor and Council authorize the town manager to enter into a contract with SMI Site Services Incorporated for 5 years, beginning November 1st, 2024, and ending on October 31st, 2029.
Thank you. I noticed, I had asked Dawn for some information. In 2024, we spent $7,475 on snow removal. In 2023, we spent nothing. In 22, we spent $67,074. So my question is, how do we budget for that? And what do we budget for this year?
We budget a set amount, I believe it's 30 grand, $30,000, and your snow removal is an essential. If you don't get any snow, you don't use it. And if you get snow like we did in 22 and it goes over, you use that and some, and Dawn makes up the difference through her processes.
We do it at the end of the year, adjustment. I mean, we could budget 67,000, but it's
I'll tie that
typically
money.
not. And, unless we get to a point where we're having trouble at the end of the year, handling those type of things, I would recommend we keep it to the way we have it. But yeah, we, that year we got slammed 2 or 3 times,
About
and,
4 storms.
Yeah.
and we had a tremendous amount of, I don't know, you all know this, I think, positive feedback about how cleaned up Ocean View was, and people could tell as soon as they entered Ocean View compared to everywhere else. So,
This is
thankfully, it doesn't happen every year.
Yeah, and I think, Carol, what's more, even more impressive is the amount of snow that our staff here moves.
Yes.
And I think that's what people see more than the other larger trucks, and that's what, I know I'm impressed because they are just making loops around this town.
Yeah, well, they do our properties now.
Yes, they do
And,
all.
and they do follow, of course, Ken's been out, during the snowstorms, double checking.
Mm-hmm.
And as you all know, we did keep some of our snow equipment because, again, we can throw something at a problem.
Yep.
Equipment breaks down and things like that, yeah.
Our staff does our properties. They do Central Avenue from Route 26 to Beaver Dam. They do Muddy Neck Road when they're making their loops in between the parks and the house. Parks in 201 Central, they handle those things. Our contract resources do the lion's share of the community work. And the good thing about these types of contract is you don't pay them if they don't come here to work. They're here if you need them.
On demand.
We dictate how long they're here. We tell them when to show up. I tell them when to stop knocking off trucks. And so, yeah, so it's been a win-win for us. We couldn't have been, we would have got crushed if we didn't have contract support when we got the 11 inches of snow.
Yeah, cause our guys couldn't have worked
Right.
steady enough. We did get that contract out and in place in 20. We didn't get a chance to use it till 22, and we were very pleased. This is the same company that is getting this bid.
Good.
So we feel pretty good that, you know, we're a priority for them.
Okay, any other questions? If not, I need a motion to authorize the town manager to enter into a contract with SMI Site Services for 5 years, beginning November 1, 2024, and ending October 31, 2029.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a recommendation that we enter into an agreement with SMI Site Services out of Selbyville, Delaware, for a period of 5 years, beginning November 1st of 2024, ending October 31st on 2029, for snow removal and any other items deemed necessary.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. Thank you. Moving on, discussion, consideration, and possible voting on the appointment of Sharon Denoto to the Planning and Zoning Commission to complete the term of Walter Curran, who resigned, term ending May 2025. Okay.
The Office of Planning and Zoning received communications from Walter Kern on July 17, 2024, that he would be resigning his position on the Planning and Zoning Commission effective immediately. Mrs. Denoto is retired from the Social Security Administration after 40 years of service, and she resides in District 4, where we currently do not have representation. It is therefore recommended that Mayor and Council appoint Sharon Denoto to fill the vacant Planning and Zoning seat.
Thank you. Any questions? If not, I need a motion to approve Ms. Denoto to serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve Sharon Denoto for Planning and Zoning Commission opening as per Mr. Semino.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. Last item is discussion, consideration, and possible voting on a recommendation to purchase a mobile speed awareness monitor.
Yes, Mayor and Council, I put a corrected, version of this on at your date table, as well as sent it to you yesterday. I realized I had put in the wrong, information about, some of the funding. So, as you know, Ocean View Police Department addresses speeding concerns, you know, many areas around the town. We, own and operate 19, permanent pole-mounted speed monitoring devices, and until recently, we had one, towable, if you will, unit that has now reached its useful life and no longer available to us. Stalker Radar Applied Concepts is a state of Delaware awarded company for a contract for this monitoring equipment. The unit cost is $14,454.20. Funding is available from the balance of our American Rescue Plan Act funding as a result of our obtaining bond bill grants. That was my correction of $113,000 towards the Burzins natural area match. I also updated the ARPA fund usage log and attached that for you. It's therefore recommended that Mayor and Council authorize the town manager to purchase a new speed awareness monitor unit from Stalker Radar Applied Concepts for the total cost of $14,454.20, utilizing the available funds from our ARPA award.
Thank you. Any questions? If not, I need a motion to authorize the town manager to purchase a new speed awareness monitoring unit from Stalker Radar Applied Concepts Incorporated at the cost of $14,454.20, utilizing available funds from our ARPA funds.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the town manager to purchase a new speed awareness monitor unit from Stalker Radar Applied Concepts Incorporated at the total cost of $14,454.20, utilizing available funds from our ARP award.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go into the second citizen's privilege. Mr. Twazik, do you have any comments?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we're going to move into executive session for legal advice with respect to litigation, personnel, land acquisition, sale of town assets. So
So we need a motion and a
we need
second.
a motion to go into executive session.
Make motion, we adjourn to an executive session.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll be back.
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn from the executive session.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion, we adjourn from the executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes, thank you. Now I need a motion to go back into regular session.
Make motion, we return to regular session.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So passes, thank you. Are you going to, Don, you have the result of executive session meeting?
Yes, I do, Mayor. And I would like, after we came out of executive session, I'd like to make a motion to support the town manager's recommendation to add one part-time assistant administrator position to the Ocean View Police Department. This position is needed to address the requirements of two unfunded mandates from the state of Delaware related to accreditation and the establishment of a Police Accountability Committee, also known as PAC. The position will continue the efforts required to maintain the department's current state of Delaware accreditation and assist in our recent launch and implementation of the Sussex County Southeast Regional Police Accountability Committee, which is currently made up of the towns of Ocean View, South Bethany, Dewey Beach, and Fenwick-Island Police Departments.
Thank you. I think
You need a second for that.
we need a second, yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so passes, thank you. Is there any other business?
No.
If not, then I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so passes, thank you.
Okay.